Ancestral Ties and Broken Vows. In the heart of Ala Igbo, nestled between rolling hills and endless palm groves, lay the village of Umuaka. Its people were proud, deeply rooted in tradition, and bound by sacred ancestral laws. Beneath the surface of this tranquil land stirred a tale of love, betrayal, and sacrifice, a tale that would forever change its fate. Adaobi was the pride of her family, a radiant young woman with a fiery spirit and a mind sharp enough to challenge even the wisest elders. Her father, Nkemdirim, often boasted that she was destined for greatness. To Nkemdirim, greatness meant Adaobi's impending marriage to Chikodili, the son of Chief Okonkwo. This union was more than a marriage. It was an alliance, a bond between two powerful families. But Adaobi's heart belonged to Obinna, the village woodcarver. Though gifted in his craft, Obinna carried a burden. He was Osu, an outcast, unworthy in the eyes of society. To love him was forbidden, yet Adaobi loved him with a passion that defied all reason. On a quiet evening, as the moon cast its silver glow over the forest, Adaobi met Obinna in their secret place. The scent of freshly carved wood filled the air as Obinna handed her a small wooden figure, a carving of two figures intertwined. "It's us," he said softly. "No matter what happens, I'll always carve a place for you in my heart." Adaobi's eyes filled with tears. "Obinna," she whispered, "how much longer can we hide? My father, Chikodili, the entire village would never allow this." Obinna took her hands in his. "Run away with me, Ada. We'll leave this village, start anew, where no one knows our names." Adaobi hesitated. Could she abandon her family, her people, her culture, for love? The weight of her decision bore down on her as the distant sound of drums signaled preparations for her betrothal ceremony. The day of the betrothal ceremony arrived, and the village was alive with vibrant colors and music. Adaobi sat in the center of the gathering, adorned in coral beads and a resplendent wrapper. She looked every bit the bride-to-be, but inside her heart was a storm. Chikodili stood tall beside her, proud and confident, but his sharp eyes caught her distant gaze. Something was wrong, and he knew it. As the ceremony progressed, dark clouds gathered unexpectedly. The once joyous air grew heavy. Then, without warning, the sacred tree at the center of the village began to creak and sway, though there was no wind. The elders gasped in fear. "The spirits are angry," Nkemdirim declared. "Someone has broken a sacred vow." Whispers spread like wildfire through the crowd. Accusations flew, but Adaobi remained silent, her hands trembling in her lap. She knew the truth. She was the cause of this turmoil. That night, Adaobi was summoned before the village council. Nkemdirim, his face a mask of anger and sorrow, demanded answers. "Adaobi, my daughter, what have you done to bring this shame upon our family?" Adaobi fell to her knees. "Father, I cannot marry Chikodili. My heart belongs to Obinna." Gasps filled the air. Chikodili's face darkened with rage. "An Osu," he spat. "You would disgrace us for an outcast?" The council erupted in chaos. Some demanded that Obinna be banished, while others called for a cleansing ritual to appease the spirits. Nkemdirim torn between love for his daughter and his duty to tradition, declared, "The gods will decide their fate." The next morning, the village gathered at the sacred grove. The priest, an elderly man with piercing eyes, stepped forward. "Adaobi, your love defies the laws of our ancestors, yet the gods are merciful. A sacrifice must be made to restore balance. Either you renounce Obinna and marry Chikodili, or he must pay with his life." Adaobi's heart shattered. She turned to Obinna, who stood proudly, unafraid. "Do not weep for me," he said. "If my life is the price for your freedom, I will pay it gladly." But Adaobi couldn't bear it. "No," she cried. "I will marry Chikodili. Spare him." Her voice echoed through the grove, carrying with it the weight of her sacrifice. The priest nodded, and the spirits seemed to retreat, the air growing lighter once more. In the end, Adaobi and Chikodili were wed, but their union was a hollow one. Obinna left the village, his heart forever scarred. Adaobi lived a life of duty, but her spirit, once so bright, grew dim. In the years to come, her story became a legend, a tale of love and sacrifice that reminded the people of Umuaka that even the strongest traditions must sometimes bend to the power of the human heart. On quiet nights, beneath the light of the moon, some say you can still hear the sound of a woodcarver's chisel, shaping the story of a love that refused to be forgotten.